Hi, chat. How is everybody doing so far tonight? Hope everybody's having a great week because it is Thursday and we are almost done with our week. Why is this? Gosh, it just looks weird in the light. Why is it? Oh, well, it's in the shadow and we'll just button it up. We'll just button it up. Why not? Why not? Why not? What's another 2 hours of being buttoned up? Ultimately here for us. No big deal. Big deal. So, guys, welcome to the Thursday night stream. If you guys are new, I'm watching the Kieran Reed trial, some of the other stuff we've been covering lately. My name's Sean, also known as Potentially Criminal. I am an attorney over in the Cleveland, Ohio area. I focus on criminal law, but obviously I do a little bit of everything else that goes on. And tonight we've got a whole bunch of things to talk about. A lot of cool things, a lot of interesting things, some funny stuff, some sad stuff, and yeah, not sure how you may feel, but we'll be taking a look at it. We are live tonight on YouTube, Twitter, and Rumble. So all of you guys out there on Rumble Land, looks like it's working. I think it's working. It looks like it's working. I'm not sure though. Let me know out there in chat land. So we're trying it. Looks like a couple people are in there. But I wanted to, Rumble has given me problems before, but I wanted to give them a shot again. I think we're gonna probably be scaling back the Twitch and the Twitch and Facebook and Kick just because there ain't a whole lot happening out there. Like nobody really seems to watch on those. So it's kind of waste of time and a waste of space to go ahead and do all that. So I'm wearing black like Johnny Cash. No, this is bleu. This is bleu foncé, dark blue, not bleu clair, bleu clair. But I also want to say hello to everybody out there watching on Locals. And if you guys don't know what Locals is basically everything Patreon wishes it was and everything you hope Patreon would be. So over at potentiallycriminal.locals.com, you can join us over there. We have a really neat setup going on. Everybody likes to hang out. It's a great time. And just like Patreon, it costs you nothing to join. You can become a member for free, become a part of the community. We post things that we've been talking about. Like today, I posted, as of today, there were 23 cases left. The Supreme Court had to decide a bunch of big ones that were out there, including Trump v. United States. But they did 3 of them today, and 3 of them were kind of like, nobody really cared about them. They were kind of like the piddly dick ones. So, not a whole lot happened. If you guys are concerned about the Indian Welfare Act and how things with the Indian Health Service work, today was a very big day. Justice Gorsuch has once again made himself to be out as he's made himself out to be as the savior of the tribes, but he is probably one of the most staunchest justices to support tribal rights and the tribe as in recent history. I mean, he is. You'd think he's part Indian at some point, the way he goes to bat for the tribes. But he has been out there doing it. There were 2 other cases today, but nothing big, nothing to worry about. The bump stock case, none of that stuff happened today. And if you join us, with that said, though, over on Locals, we do all kinds of fun stuff. Like while this show is going on, there's a live chat that's going, which I forgot to put up, and I'm putting up right now. And you guys get to go in there and hang out and do whatever you want. And you can say all the things you can't say here. And then what do we do after that? Well, after this show, we hang out on Locals. We have a live show. We do 2 live shows a week. So that's 8 a month. Unless something happens, like Mr. Medicare comes on, we'll go hang out there and have a watch party. We watch, do Formula One watch parties. Those are always fun too. And we hang out, have a fun time. I think like last month we did probably like 15 total lives, burning up all the time out there. So it was pretty good total in May. Better than 14. From there, we do 2 live shows. We do a live show every Monday night, starting at about 8:30. That usually goes about 2.5, 3 hours. And then after this show, we hang out. We have the after party. It's a lot of fun. We get to talk about things we couldn't get to here, not appropriate here for this type of show, but also not appropriate for YouTube. I'm not joking. Locals is pretty based on what you can do there. It's a lot of fun. If If you wish to support me, though, that's how you get access to the live shows. It's $3 a month. You pay for 10 months, you get 2 months free. And with the promo code SWITCHY, as a Glock Switchies, you would get 1 month free access. And actually, I am going to, I need to hold on here while we're doing that. We are going to work on it. People are telling me today the promo code wasn't working. I thought it had been fixed, but I guess it's not working again. So we are going to have to work on a new promo code, and I completely forgot to set that up. So my apologies, chattel. And we are going to do a new promo code. There's going to be a new promo code here. It's going to be we have a new promo code we'll be setting up for today, and it is going to be promo code Booger Sugar. Yes, you heard me right, Booger Sugar. And hold on here. Why did that not work? Oh, that's because I can't edit it while it's running. Duh. So use the promo code Booger Sugar. You get 1 month free access. You get access to all the live shows and everything. And it will be a lot of fun time. So I hope to see you guys there because it is totally worth it. I highly recommend it. So we'll see you guys there. And if you guys are also new, we try to give about 10 minutes, try to let people filter in and go from there. Rod Breton says, for fuck's sake, I didn't realize the Italians were still booty blasted over Amanda Knox. We're going to get to that. We've got a lot of interesting stuff to talk about tonight. A lot of interesting stuff. But yes, that is one of the things, and we'll get to it. So I'm making myself laugh. It's got to be a good one. Yeah, well, that's how life goes. That is how life goes. Fair Frozen said today somebody, you know what? I forgot. Somebody mentioned that. I forgot about it, so I fixed it. Does Sean have a box of Glock switchies for my 5K gift? I don't feel like going to prison, but that would be a hilarious way to do things. Just start mailing out automatic switches to everybody. Yes. Breaking the NFA to celebrate 5K. Stephen Cooper says, tribe, cutting foreskin or forehead tribe? Rain dance tribe, like the Native American tribes. Not the little hat people. Egalitarian bitch says, will you sing Mystery Sniper Happy Birthday in the style of an obnoxious waiter? No, I can't do that because that stuff gives me a panic attack being in a place like that, people cheering. But happy birthday, Mystery Sniper. Congratulations on getting through another year. And there's a reason why, if you guys don't know that, those restaurants have to come up with their little clappy songs is because for a while, like somebody owns the rights to Happy Birthday in a commercial setting. So that's why they have to come up with their own special songs. Unhung Hero for $2 says, can only get so erect for a good blog. I'm like, Nick, well, thank you. Parallax says, member for 19 months. Wow. That's the fact you guys are been members for that long. I don't know if I can express my gratitude for that, but it means so much to see numbers like that. 19 months, 20 months, 22 months. Like, it's crazy, but it's so cool at the same time. It's very humbling. It's very humbling. Hugbox stream for the first stream back. This bitch move. Well, I mean, let's see how that one goes. Bifron says, member for 6 months, happy birthday, Mystery Sniper. The Nico member for 7 months says, only a year behind Parallax. Well, maybe you'll catch up at some point. Maybe you'll catch up. Yes, happy birthday. Yes, at 24 months you get feet pics, and at 36 months you get steak knives. Burnt Raw Toast is saying, Should I tell my landlord about getting a new safe, or should I just wait until they complain? I mean, they do say, forgiveness is don't ask for forgiveness when you can don't ask for permission when you can ask for forgiveness. Depends. How cool are you with your landlord? And I mean, how are they going to find out? Or when are they going to find out because the floor is going to bow? Hopefully you're on the ground floor. Are you going to talk about the Kiki stuff? The Kiki. Ben's the Kiki. You mean like Kiwi Farms? Or I don't know what you mean by Kiki. But if you want to come out again, Ben, I'd be happy to figure that out. Can you opt out of the pics? No. They show up at your house, FedExed to you. Super Wiener's been a member for 3 months. Yes. The memberships are based. Yes. More memberships. More. Kiki Farms. Yeah. Are you going to talk about D-Day? No, because I don't know if that's true yet. We'll find out. And it wouldn't surprise me if he really did poop himself. But yes, guys, today is the 80th anniversary of the invasion of France, Operation Overlord. A lot of dudes saddled up and did some pretty crazy shit. I mean, it's 9:00 now. By that point, the day was winding down for a lot of people. And some people had been fighting and starting the night before. But a lot of people out there did some crazy things. A lot of brave things out there, beginning the liberation of Western Europe. So it's interesting. I said this last night, and I think I may have said it earlier. There's not too many World War II veterans left. And when you see those videos of those guys who are, think about it, 100 years ago is 1924. If you were 20, you were probably going to be drafted by 1944. So those guys, like the people you see that are still alive, they're in their 90s. Those people are hobbling along, and it's something to see because you think about Saving Private Ryan. That movie was filmed when World War II veterans were in their 70s, and now they're in their hundreds. Don't have too many of them left. It's going to be very interesting when they're gone. And now we're getting to the point where the Vietnam veterans, they're starting to disappear. It's very interesting times out there. So, yep, something to think about. Something to think about. What's going on, Fannie Willis? We're going to talk about that. So let's get started. The Vietnam vets are insane. Some of them are. Most of them are. Most of them are pretty based. If you ever get to talk to them, they tell some pretty cool stories. So, yes, Joe Biden probably talked about his son Beau dying at Normandy. Yes. Garrett says just dipping over the Korean War vets. I mean, they're right there with the World War II vets, and many of the Korean War vets fought in World War II. I mean, there was a lot of overlap there. And that's a shame, says, and she's correct, as General Eisenhower, later President Eisenhower said, "The eyes of the world are upon you. The hope and prayers of liberty-loving people everywhere march with you." So. And Stephen, you're right. I did forget about Korea, and that's my fault because that was an entire world unto itself. The Korean War, if you guys ever want to read about it, it made World War II look like Disneyland at some points. You read a good book. If you want to read a good World War or good Korea book, it's called The Last Stand of Fox Company. It's about a company of Marines at the Chosin Reservoir, and they didn't realize there were like 10,000 Chinese soldiers advancing on them, and they held them off for like 3 whole days. Pretty cool story. All right, but we got to get started. It's 15 minutes. We're burning daylight. So here we go. The updates for President Trump. So we have some interesting ones. We'll start off with the pretty easy one, the pretty quick one. There was a order placed by the Georgia Court of Appeals, and they did something pretty quick, and it's done ski down in Georgia. So as of right now, the Georgia Court of Appeals put together a order for the following cases: Michael Roman, David Schaefer, Robert Shealy, Mark Meadows, Donald John Trump, Kathleen Latham, Rudolph William Louis Giuliani, also known as Rudy, Jeffrey Clark, and then Harrison Floyd. Notice, it's not all of the ones who are left. The proceedings below in the Superior Court of Fulton County are hereby stayed pending the outcomes of these appeals. So it's done for now. And they are not set to have a ruling until sometime in October. So that's it. The case there is basically done for now. Now, does that automatically stay everyone else? I don't know the answer to that. I am not a practitioner in the state of Georgia, but I do know Georgia has some weird appellate laws. And I will say I recommend a couple of appellate attorneys that are out there, or I mean, a couple of Georgia attorneys. One of them is Andrew Fleischman. I've highlighted him before on chat. He's a very good attorney to follow. You know, you might not like some of his views because obviously he's a little bit on the left, but everything the man says, you know, as Ralph would say, it's true. He says a lot of truth, especially with the legal stuff. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens. People are screaming and crying, and all I can say is, Fanny, thank you. This is all your fault. This is all your fault. This is all your fault, Fanny. And then over in let's see here. Northside CA 707 over in Rumble says, free my boy Nick. Yes. And before we get too far, speaking of Rumble, Real Patriots Party, I hope you're out there, brother. I haven't seen you around in a little bit, but you know, guys, I do have something to tell you. I received an award. It's not the real Rumble Award, though. It came from Real Patriots Party. And as he said to me, it is for 100,000 oopsie poopsies and 100,000 mutes. So this is going to have a spot of honor. But yes, it does feel like it's about 100,000 mutes. This is so cool. It's so cool. I thought about putting it up in the back and see if you guys noticed. Oh, it's super cool. It is super. And, you know, I know it's like 3D printed, but it's pretty based. Based. So, Real Patriots Party, if you're out there, thank you so much, man. Yes, I got a Rumble Dong. Shade Chaser says, oh, your uncle was a Vietnam vet. He died in 99 of AIDS. Oof. Well, that's not inspiring. That's tough. Did I get a pack of Field of Greens also? No, I did not. It looks like a fancy shampoo bottle. It kind of does. So we need to move on from there, though. We have more Trump news we have to get to. And the second part of it. So obviously, you guys know Trump has his case down in Florida, and it's with the spooky documents case. Well, it's being overseen by Judge Aileen Cannon down in the Southern District of Florida. Well, people don't like Judge Cannon because she does what the fuck she wants, and she stays within the rules. And she's acting a little bit in favor of a defendant, which, oh my God, a judge being pro-defense. Oh no. Well, a lot of people got upset about that, including some jackoffs on Twitter who are former DOJ prosecutors, which, shocker, when you see these really troublesome takes on Twitter, just click open on the attorney thing. You'll see like former federal prosecutor, former U.S. attorney, former career DA. And you're like, found the fucking problem. Well, it gets no better when you deal with this guy here. Glenn Kirshner. Glenn Kirshner is a former career U.S. He is also I think MSNBC analyst and just general jack off in general. I mean, Look at this guy's setup. Look at this setup. Look at this. Look at this mofo. Anyways, Glenn had this great big-brained idea right here. Look at this guy. He had a great big-brained idea to go after Judge Cannon. He had a brilliant idea. Former U.S. attorney. You know, he's big on this. MSNBC contributor. So here's his plan. Here's his brilliant fucking plan.
Start by going to uscourts.gov. So you click on menu. You then click on judges and judgeships. You then click on judicial conduct and disability. You then click on frequently asked questions, filing a judicial conduct or disability complaint against a federal judge. You'll see this page, and
I'm sure you guys can figure out where we're going with this right now. We're going to fucking brigade a federal judge. He's not doxing, no. But they're going to brigade a federal judge. They're going to brigade and report bomb a federal judge.
You'll scroll down to number 4. How do I file my complaint? And you'll then go to the form. Then you'll download the form. It starts by asking you your name, your contact address, a daytime telephone number, the name of the judge, of course, is Judge Aileen Cannon.
Well, hold on. You're saying, where's my tie? I look like a slob? I mean, okay, I guess. I got Pinky, so I guess I'll put this on real quick while you guys are watching, but we'll keep going here.
And then under number 2, it asks the court. The court is the U.S. District Court for the District of Florida. Number 3, does this complaint concern the behavior of a judge in a particular lawsuit or case? You're going to check yes. And it asks again for the name of the court, the U.S. District Court for the District of Florida. And then it asks the case number, and it is case number 23-80101-CR-Cannon. After that, it asks if you're a party or a lawyer. You're neither, so you can check the box neither. And then moving on to page 2, you'll see section 4. That's where you put your brief statement of facts, how Judge Cannon has been presiding over Trump's case down in Florida. And after you fill out the brief statement of facts, then section 5 is a declaration and signature, and you have to declare under the penalty of perjury that the statements made in this complaint are true and correct to the best of your knowledge. Mail it to, it is the clerk's office for the 11th Circuit Federal Court of Appeals. There's the address.
So there you go. No, also, I know somebody said I looked like a slob. Here you go. We're back. We got Ty on chat. So the next video is a cucking tutorial. Probably would be with him. So anyways, yeah, like God, why does it look all fucking crooked on camera? My mom's going to be like, oh my God, you look like a slob. Tie the tie right. Is that a clip-on? No. A half Windsor, really? Why would I tie? It's 9:30 and it's 10 o'clock at night, man. What do you want me to do, like a four-in-hand knot or something? We're not doing that. We're not doing that. No, take everything off. No. Yes, and Rod, yes, Rod, and also Rod, it's nice to meet you and to see you here. Saw you a little earlier too, like the Welsh dragon. Yes, once you submitted the paperwork, wash the sand out of your vagina. Yes. Okay, so he did all that, and now, yes, so you did all that nonsense. Ties are for Croatians. Guess what happened, chat? Well, something funny happened because he's got submitted to the Judicial Council for the 11th Circuit. And the 11th Circuit is where Florida is, specifically the Southern District of Florida. So this is dated May 22nd. So the 11th Judicial Circuit. In the matter of judicial complaints against Aileen M. Cannon. So this is an order. This is an order of the court. Before May 16th, multiple complaints of judicial misconduct were filed in connection to the classified documents case involving former President Trump. Some of these complaints have been acted upon, and others will be acted upon in due course. Since May 16th, the clerk of the United States Court of Appeals for the 11th Circuit has received over 1,000 complaints against Judge Cannon. These complaints appear to be part of an orchestrated campaign, as described in Judicial Conduct Rule 10b and the accompanying commentary. The Chief Circuit Judge of the 11th District or the 11th Circuit has considered and dismissed 4 of those orchestrated complaints as merits related and is based on allegations lacking sufficient evidence to raise an inference that misconduct has occurred. I think you guys get an idea where this is going. Which is really kind of dangerous when you're if I was an attorney and I got a bunch of people to do this, because Glenn Kirshner's an attorney. Yeah. This could be considered sanctionable conduct, Glenn. Many of the complaints request that the Chief Circuit Judge remove her and reassign the case to a different judge. But neither the judge nor the Judicial Council has the authority to take this action. See Judicial Conduct Rule 11, Judicial Conduct Rule 19, and Judicial Conduct Rule 20. Fucking career prosecutor, man. You're getting BTFO'd here, Glenn. What's the deal, buddy? Many of the complaints against Judge Cannon also question the correctness of her rulings or delays in issuing rulings on his case. But Judicial Conduct Rule 4B1 provides cognizable misconduct does not include an allegation that calls into question the correctness of a judge's ruling, including a failure to recuse. And that's true, because otherwise, every time the judge does something you don't like, you can recuse them. The fact they're not doing what you want does not mean you get to go cry about it. And they point out that Rule 4B2 provides that cognizable misconduct does not include an allegation about a delay in rendering a ruling unless the allegation concerns an improper motive in delaying that decision or a habitual delay in a number of unrelated cases. Although many of the complaints allege an improper motive in delaying the case, the allegations are speculative and unsupported by evidence. Womp, 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 womp. The complaints also do not establish that Judge Cannon was required to recuse herself from the case because she was appointed by then President Trump. And that would just be because, it wouldn't ever work that way. There's no support for this, whatever. A judge can be disqualified because the president will appoint it up. I mean, think about all the lawsuits of people suing the government. It just wouldn't work. Judicial Conduct Rule 10b allows the chief judge to recommend to the Judicial Council that it order to the clerk not to accept further filings that are part of an orchestrated campaign. And here's the orchestrated campaign. When many essential identical complaints are received, the judge may recommend that the council issue a written order instructing the clerk to only accept a certain number of the complaints for filing and refuse to accept the rest. The judge has made the recommendation to the council for these complaints orchestrated against Judge Cannon. Because these complaints are received on or after May 16th raised this, the Judicial Council unanimously orders the clerk of the United States Court of Appeals for the 11th Circuit not to accept judicial complaints against Judge Cannon received on or after May 16th. Oh no! Oh no! Resistor Bros! I don't feel so good. You wasted your fucking time. I'm sure they're gonna get mad now and say Trump corrupted them too. So they're only gonna look at 4 of them. They're only gonna look at 4, and they're probably gonna dismissed. And that have already been filed and dismissed. Like somebody, it's like, oh. And normally, they will send a copy of this order to each person whose complaint wasn't accepted. But instead of mailing this to each person, they're saying, fuck you, read it on the website. Oh, BTFO chat. Yes, get wrecked, commies. Graxis is wait, so is the judge now immune to complaints? No, but trying to brigade her is not going to do anything because they're going to say, don't fucking care. Do you actually have a valid complaint? So, yeah. Whereas Vince would say, yes. Reminds me of law school complaints. Sorry, First Amendment, basically. Yes. Yes. Oh, you guys are having fun. You guys are having fun in chat. Did they give Trump an argument to win? No, I mean, it's just the Court of Appeal saying, we ain't got time for this shit. Get a fucking life, you losers. Go listen to NPR. Access is Glenn going to prison now? No, but you think he'd be punished for interfering like an asshole like this, but I guess not. I guess not. It's only like it's a one-sided thing here. Yes. Oh, where did it see? Yes, Lightning NC. That's a name I don't think I've seen in a little while. So thanks for being here. Yes. Dumb fuck juice stonks are going up, chat. Bye, bye, bye. All those resistors drinking dumb fuck juice. Yes, it was very based. So is brigading not illegal? I mean, it's not illegal-ish, but I wouldn't recommend it. Fucking around with federal judges, guys. That's a free legal pointer. Like, look, I wear a tie. I'm credible. Don't fuck around with federal courts. It's never a good idea. Never a good idea. Pretty much, guys. Yep. Guzzle, 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 guzzle. It's almost like a petition. Yeah, pretty much. Yes. Yes. The resistors tried Actually, the resistors tried complaining to the manager, but it wasn't effective. So yes, they went and complained to her manager, and the manager's like, and then Shade Chaser for $5 over on Rumble, thank you, is saying, I wasn't meaning you. I meant the dude rallying people to file official crime reports about a federal judge. You look dapper. Well, thank you. Well, hopefully even more dapper now. So, yes, that is the funny part about this. And it's even funnier, though. CNN had to do a little bit of cope and seethe on it. So, and if you guys need to goon for a second, yes. After 1,000 complaints were filed, the court no longer accepting them. And I think it's funny. This is check this dude's name out, Tierney Sneed. The meme magic is real, chat. The meme magic is real. And then, oh yeah, Rabinowitz. Okay, well, the meme magic is real, chat. Sneed. Oh, and yes, here's Judge Cannon. If you guys want to goon about that for a minute. So, it is so funny that they aren't accepting these anymore. And this just CNN is CNN says it's not clear what exactly started the onslaught of complaints after May 16th. Yeah, gee, I wonder what. Last month, Cannon indefinitely postponed the start of the trial because there were, questions by the state about whether or not they did anything correctly. And there's a big issue about what they've done in handling the evidence. So good news, and it's just funny with the coping and seething and sneezing and yes. 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 CNN status blasted. Yes. Booty blasted. Yes, Sneed. 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 I didn't realize they had somebody in the name there. Yes. Literal sneeding. I know. Sneeding like a boss. So those are the updates right now for Trump's cases. Everything else, guys, is kind of in holding pattern. The Washington, D.C. case is on hold till the Supreme Court rules. And then obviously all the bullshit out of New York City. So that's all done for now. So there we go. That's your Trump update. And then I know I covered this with the Ohio fisherman just because it happened down the road from me. But look what fucking happens again. A guy down in Louisiana at a bass tournament got caught after he shoved lead weights in his fish. It's so damn funny. So a Louisiana man has been arrested after 6 days on the run for trying to cheat at a bass fishing tournament. And the fish police out of Louisiana, they determined that a guy named Aaron Moreau had cheated in the contest. And they determined that he placed 2.5 pounds of lead weights in a fish he used to weigh in. And that's the problem. You know, when you cheat, you got to cheat in small amounts. If you get greedy, people notice. Just like the guys here in Ohio. They outweighed everybody by like 20 pounds in the middle of in the fall when there aren't that many big fish. And then people cut the fish open and they crapped out lead weights and they got felonies out of it. But yes, Moreau fled the tournament when the weights were discovered. It briefly became, and I bet this is true, probably the only man in America's history running from the law for cheating at a fishing tournament. Normally, this would happen. Guys would probably just beat the shit out of you in the parking lot. But they obtained a warrant for his arrest, which, I'm glad they're out there solving the real crimes. But hey, all those guys chasing after him, all the fish police chasing after him, are less people out on the water harassing boaters and people trying to have fun. So he faces up to a $3,000 fine and 1 year in jail for fishing contest fraud. So yeah, it's just absolutely ridiculous people doing this shit. Cheating at bass fishing is common enough that many contestants have to pass a polygraph. Yep, and that's true. And they polygraph test randomly every hour of the tournament. But it's unclear whether you're given or pass a polygraph. And they'll call you, you'll be out on the lake or wherever you're at, and they'll say, come on in. You're doing a poly. You have to come in and do it. And then here they talk about the walleye anglers, and those are the guys I covered here on the show, and then I went to their sentencing because that was hilarious because it happened here in Cleveland. So, and yes, and then you get things like this. A Kansas guy weighed down a crappie that would have been a state record fish. And that's a problem, guys. If you bring that kind of attention on yourself, the government's going to investigate it. Just like we covered a week or two ago, the guy who caught one of the state big bucks. He caught a bunch of felonies for that. Don't go after the biggest thing you could find. Like if you're going to cheat or screw around, stay off the radar. Don't do it like this, chat. Don't do it like this. Don't do it like this. Will Reed says, this sounds fake. Polys are unreliable. No, well, I mean, polygraphs are reliable in like legal settings, but no, like if you work for like the DOD or you're in intelligence or in the military, they can make you take a polygraph. The FBI makes you take a polygraph. And these tournaments, they make guys take polygraphs. They don't have any other way. And, That's all they've got. That's all they've got. And Rod says, is there a specific law for fishing contest fraud? Maybe there is in Louisiana. Here in Ohio were the guys who did it, which I did, I call them the Filoni's fishermen. They got charged with theft and cheating at sweepstakes, basically. So like sweepstakes fraud and theft for trying to steal the prize money. So that's how those guys here got in trouble. So yeah. And then Chadwick Canuck is saying felonies for cheating. What was the felony for the theft offenses? Stealing the money, using criminal tools and trying to defraud a sweepstakes and a contest. That's why it's a felony. Yes. Sergeant Dornan says, respect the hobby. Yes. Yes. T-Money, all that is man, says if they have a law like that, then I don't think this is the first time someone's run from it. Yeah. And David saying, bro, why you ruining a crappie like that? Just eat it. Yeah. I wonder if the guy even realized he had done that and weighed it down too much. And Will says, how is it illegal? Well, you're defrauding people and you're cheating. That's why. So different you go cheat at a casino or you cheat at, like you go to the Elks Club and you cheat at Queen of Hearts or something like that. And you get like the $15,000 and then the guys at the Elks Club try to fucking kill you because you got caught cheating. Yeah. Cato says, why the hell does the government care about this more than other kinds of contest fraud? They don't, but it's because they, part of why the government arrests people is to prevent society from killing people and enacting mob justice. It also helps that the fish police, the wildlife police are a little smaller in size and they're a little more focused on one thing so they can pay attention to this. Mm-hmm. Will says, I didn't mean the polys are fake, but the story is just so extreme. It is. It is extreme. But people are, this guy is such a fucking loser. He wants to win so bad. I'm going to cheat a fishing tournament. Yay, my life is fulfilled. There's all kinds of weird fucking people out there that are losers like that. Did the bass file a complaint? Yes. He shoved that weight inside me. Sergeant Dornan says Nick Ricotta is going to do a local stream. Oh, cool. Good for him. Hope he's come, hope it works out. Tianita says the pumpkin eaters. Cowpoke says Dankula did a video on this a while back. Well, this happens all the time. People will cheat on all kinds of shit. In bass tournaments, here's this is the old timer way of cheating in bass tournaments and fishing tournaments is you'd pour sand in the fish. That was the old school way of doing it. But then it becomes a problem because if your fish aren't dead and they're swimming in a tank, they don't swim. They're stuck on the bottom because they're too heavy. So tournaments figure this out. They would start x-raying the fish and sand would show up in the x-rays. So that's the problem. So don't use sand. That's the old school way. Put the fish in the fish. Yeah, that's how the guys in Ohio did it too. They shoved fish fillets inside. Metal Matt says, with gray hair like this, Sean could join the Elks Club. I'd rather join like the Eagles. At least the Eagles where I live were pretty fucking cool. Drank a beer there or two in my time. Stream Stipe Nick. No, we're not going to do that. It'll be if it's a disaster, it'll be a disaster later on, or if it's good, it'll be good later on. Guys, we got stuff to do here. I can't make this the Nick channel. There'll be milk. There'll be milk to be had and corn to be harvested. In due time. But there's so much more of this world out there. So that's all I'm saying. Mr. Man, last comment here on this says, I forget who it was, but he had a diver in the water putting big fish on his hook. 20 years ago. That's a pretty clever way. That's a pretty clever way. So that's pretty clever. I like it. I like it. Lily Lynn says 2 guys last year got caught and had to repay $500,000 from cash to boats. And yeah, Lily, that happened about 10 miles behind me up on the lake in downtown Cleveland. And I covered them. If you guys look through my channel through some of the pre-produced videos, I know I haven't done those in a while and I need to get back on that. It's been about 5 or 6 months. I covered them getting caught. I covered them pleading out, and that actually went to their sentencing hearings. And it was fucking hilarious. So yes, it was very interesting. Oh, so we're all set from there, guys. Let's move on to the next thing. Now, this one, I understand you guys might not be happy about this for who got the benefit of this, but it's necessary. It's necessary. So out of Colorado, the charges are dropped against a Cannon City man who was accused of shaking a baby to death and killing it. Now, you might think, well, what happened? Well, the district attorney did something really bad. And if you guys don't know, this is William Jacobs. And he's accused of murdering his girlfriend's baby and shaking it and killing it and abusing it. So, less than a week after the anniversary of the baby dying, his first-degree murder case has been dismissed. And the judge granted a motion to dismiss. William Jacobs was the last person to care for the living girlfriend's baby, who died after being found unresponsive, where he lived with the baby mom, and it's not his kid. You're thinking, that seems like a pretty obvious case, and it probably was. They probably had all the evidence in the world, but the prosecutor fucked it up. How did the prosecutor ruin it? So, well, let's figure this out here. He died from blunt force trauma to the head. And according to his arrest affidavit, he said he was changing the baby's diaper when he said the baby went stiff and began making noises. So he's already lying. And during the interview, he admitted to biting the baby's arm while playing with them and biting too hard. But then he also said the baby got bit by a dog. And if you guys have never been in these child abuse cases, like real child abuse, like shaken baby cases, and this is normal. This is normal. So he also admitted to hitting the baby's head on a bathroom door frame while he was trying to take him to throw up in a toilet. And his story kept changing. And the baby's head trauma was non-accidental based on the severity of the injuries. So what happened? Well, in July last year, there was a preliminary hearing. Okay? And after that, the district attorney for that area, Linda Stanley, said to the news crew, "Hey guys, come follow me. Come follow me. Let's talk. Let's hang out." Well, they hung out. And guess what she did? So they went and hung out, and here we go. Here's what happened.
Investigates update. An accused baby killer in Canyon City is now walking.
To detectives, he bit the baby boy and hit its head on a door while trying to discuss this case with 11th.
So here we go. This is the district attorney discussing the case. That's pre-trial.
Judicial District Attorney Linda Stanley in a sit-down interview last July. It's that interview that the judge says the district attorney displayed outrageous government conduct. The judge says DA Stanley made inflammatory statements about Jacobs' character.
And she made a bunch of statements, and here's her, and here's the statements.
Williams from getting a fair trial.
Blunt here. He has zero investment in this child. Zero. Yes. He's watching that baby so he can get laid. That's it. And have a place to sleep. I'm sorry to be that blunt, but honest to God, that's what's going on.
Fremont County Judge Caitlin Turner, who...
So there you go. There you go. And not showing all the evidence before trial. It's that she prejudiced him improperly by making all these comments that weren't about the case, saying the baby died of blunt force. Pre-trial publicity prejudiced him in front of the jury. So yes, he won't escape God's justice, but for right now, because of this prosecutor, yeah. Yeah, she tried to weaponize the press against this guy. And they were intentional in knowing to get the jury pool swayed way before things were going. And the judge agreed it was highly prejudicial. And somebody in here is saying, saying so? Okay. Oh, so DA. Okay, sorry. Robert's saying, how is that bad? They do it all the time. Well, maybe that's part of the problem, that they don't get corrected enough. They don't get corrected enough. Maybe this is the reason. Well, now and remember how I say this, guys, sometimes this has to happen so the community understands, like, the people you elected aren't fucking working. You need to fix this. The community needs to hold her accountable. Yes. And Super Wiener is right. The entire point of following the fucking rules is so there aren't holes that a defendant like this can use to get out of a situation. Yes. If she hadn't given that interview, guess what? He'd be facing trial. But no, she wanted to run her fucking mouth. Couldn't the trial be moved? No, it's prejudiced. The people heard it. This is prosecutorial misconduct. This isn't something happened where the jury, just by listening to news stories, got mad. The prosecutor intentionally caused the problem. We don't let you, if you cause the problem, you should have to pay for it. And she caused the problem, so now the case gets dismissed. That's a fair resolution here. Fair resolution. Can I still bring a case against them? Nope. Done. 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 Case still needs to be tried, though. Are they switching counties? Nope. Done. Done. It's done. Switching counties that happened in this county. Remember, the prosecutor fucked this up. It's her fault. If you live out there, you certainly would have the right to, she runs for election. Why'd you fuck that up? Are you apologizing? Will you step down? Will you quit? Is she suffering ethics complaint punishments? She's got other issues in front of her. She is facing disbarment later on this summer. So this isn't the only time she's fucked up, chat. Robert Lawrence says that's not justice enough. It is, though. 100 guilty men must walk so that one innocent man doesn't go free. And I would rather have 100 guilty men go free than a system be corrupt. If it takes guilty men walking free to have accountability, that's the cost of accountability. Yes, even assholes and complete pieces of shit are entitled to fair trials. Yeah, she's facing sanction, so that's the good news. Pepsi Man says, how should the prosecutor not have spoken to get the case dismissed? Just not have done it? Pretty much. Pretty much. It's like, if I was the prosecutor, do you have any comment? You sat through the preliminary hearing. Those are my comments. And that's all I would have said. If they recorded the preliminary hearing, great. Those are my comments. I have nothing further to say at this point. You don't get to do that as a prosecutor. So, because what's the defense attorney going to do now? Come out there and say, I represent William Jacobson. We have to say to all those allegations, well, that's not true. That's not going to work. She's a bitch. That's not going to work. She's lying, y'all. That ain't going to work. So now she's paying the price. But yes, when you're a prosecutor, and I will say this much, like my first elected I worked for, that was his thing. Like when the reporters came by, it's like, what do you have to say? I have no comment. You know, we if you have questions about our like, do you have a question about something we filed? And they'd say, well, yeah, we have a question about this, this, or that. What do you have a question about? And if it's something you would answer, yeah, we filed this, and they'd say, why'd you file it? It's like, you can read our filing and we'll explain why we filed it. And he'd say, I'm trying. He was very nice about it. Like, you read our filings will tell you everything that's going on. And from there, you know, you guys can take care of it. You know, that's how it should be done. That's what professionalism is. Is the prosecution never entitled to a change of venue? I would say never. If they ever tried to ask for one, I'd say too fucking bad. You're not entitled to a fair trial. Usually that's never the issue. Eric says, dude, let's cover a disbarment. If it's something we can watch, we'll follow up on it. Kat says, can the baby's mom sue the district attorney? Nope. Prosecutors have complete immunity. Oops. 1983 doesn't work on them. Oops. David says, that's silly. Voir dire exists for a reason. Constitution, uber alles. You know, the first 8 amendments of the Constitution are all about you and your rights, not the government's rights. It's important. It's important. Jefferson C. Post brings up a great question. Also, nice, thanks for being here. Is saying, so the shut the fuck up advice needs to be given to prosecutors as well. Pretty much. Everybody. Everyone. And when I mean everyone, I mean everyone. Everybody needs to shut the fuck up. Really. Everybody shut up. Everybody shut up. Hold on. Even the doggos sometimes need to shut the fuck up. Oh. Walter Lippman says, nice tie, Fatso. Well, thank you. I'm glad you noticed. And that's not Clyde. That's Laney barking, the other dog. So. Where are we right now? Hold on. All right. So this one is a little interesting here. Amanda Knox. If you guys remember Amanda Knox, she was in Italy and was accused of murder, was accused of murdering her roommate back in 2007. And she spent time in Italy being tried multiple times for it. It went back and forth. She was convicted and acquitted, and then convicted again. And the way it works in Italy, their courts are completely jacked up. And this is true for most of Europe. This is a clerical and administrative thing. Oh, you're convicted. No, you're not convicted. You're convicted. No, you're not convicted. The ideas of like double jeopardy and, you know, all that. None of that exists over there. So it was completely a disaster. She spent a lot of time in prison in Italy and in jail waiting for things. Well, she still got charged with one more thing. And she got accused of, and she got convicted of slander. She accused an innocent man of her roommate's murder. And you're saying, wait, slander is a civil thing. Not in Italy. So, Amanda Knox had, she returned to an Italian courtroom this past week where she was reconvicted of slander. This is her second time back in Italy since she got freed in 2011. She was sentenced to 3 years in prison for wrongly accusing a bar owner of killing a roommate. And she did that as she was trying to clear her name. Well, in Italy, that's illegal. You can't wrongfully accuse someone. So this is Amanda going to court, and she was waiting for a verdict to be made in her case. And it's the way they do it in Italy. It's weird. They come and they give you their determination at a later date. She's 36 years old and she won't serve any more jail time because she already served a ton of jail time. She spent a long fucking time in jail. But it's very interesting. Of course she's very upset. And these fucking savages in Italy with their shitty court systems. She's very bitter. I don't blame her. And now 17 years of judicial bullshit. It's done for her finally. And this is her roommate that got killed and stabbed to death. So, she and her boyfriend were arrested for killing the roommate. And at the time, she had wrongly accused a bar owner of stabbing her roommate 47 times. And this is Amanda back in the day. It's her like 20 years ago almost, chat. Been through a lot. She had wrongly accused an innocent man. You know, who had his own issues. And he ended up getting in trouble. So, she was convicted of both murder and slander because they realized she was just like pointing out people to save her own ass and show her. But yeah, she was cut loose after her court of appeals overturned her verdicts. Hold on one second, chat. I gotta take this. Sorry about that, chat. That was the lovely future Mrs. Martin 2.0. You guys are new. You'll get to meet her at some point. But for the rest of you in chat that do know her, she says hello. But yes, her cases went back and forth. I remember reading through this. It was just insane how it kept going. And then finally she was definitively exonerated. And her boyfriend was exonerated of the murder finally in 2015. But last fall, the highest court tossed the slander conviction that it was stood 5 trials after finding her human rights had been violated during a long night of questioning. And because she had been deprived of a lawyer and a competent translator. And she said the cops had threatened her during questioning. And yeah, when you guys get in trouble abroad, shit is dangerous. So, and she says the police wanted her to blame the black guy. But now, why did she get charged? Because the court had been looking at the statements that were typed by police and signed by her. She said she remembered hearing screams and pointing at the black guy for killing her. And you're like, oh, wow, they're corrupt police. Yeah, they're corrupt everywhere. But yeah. But the issue was later on, she wrote down her own statement in English and says that I don't think that was right. Well, this guy was held for 2 weeks before he was freed. The guy that was fingered. Well, I think that's funny. What happened to her? She got held for years. They finally found the right guy, though. Was from the Ivory Coast, which, that's not a shocker. Who got sentenced to 16 years for the killing. And then he got granted early release. Makes you wonder, doesn't it? What the fuck, chat? What the fuck? Yeah, they found out who killed her. They found the right guy. Yeah, he only got 16 years, but then he got out early. Yeah. That's awesome, isn't it? They're so mad at her and pissed off, but then they cut her loose after a while, and they cut this guy loose too. Yes, the usual international suspects. That cultural enrichment. She probably ends up serving more time than the killer. Well, she went through 17 years of hell. So she served a longer sentence of like anxiety and dealing with this shit than that guy did. That's fucking crazy. Once again, that's why people don't like the United States criminal justice system. It is the best goddamn thing you could try yourself in. I would rather get tried here than any court else in any other court in the world. Unless there's one where I can like bribe the shit out of the judges, then maybe I do that, but can't guarantee that. Can't guarantee that. Oh. Can't guarantee that'll work, chat, but if there's some place like you could pull an Andrew Tate, except when you're going to bribe a judge, you don't tell everybody that you can bribe a judge because that gives it up. And then everybody knows you're going to try to bribe the judge. And then the judge is going to be like, sorry, I can't take this bribe. And then you're like, oh, shit. And now you're screwed. And then like Andrew Tate's probably going to end up, he's probably going to get cornholed out in a Romanian prison, which, oh boy, you know, that's some real hustler stuff there, I guess. Oh, okay. You could bribe the judge here in Louisiana. Eric said, but I made you a fresh bride, Your Honor. A good lawyer knows the law. A great lawyer knows a judge. Knowing a judge helps. You know, you can give your client truly accurate information, but it's not the end all be all. It's not the end all be all. But it's never a bad idea to have an attorney who knows the judge. Like I said, it's not automatic. It's not automatic. Okay. So now we move on to your crack smoking boy, Hunter Biden. So Hunter Biden's trial is now in day 4. It just happened. If you guys remember, he is facing federal gun charges for lying on his 4473, making false statements, and also being a user addicted, a drug user who, an unlawful user of a controlled substance who was in possession of a firearm. Yes. Hunter Biden, king of the laptops. Yes. Have you missed my super chat or I haven't caught up yet? Not yet. Actually, we'll catch up real quick. Here. Palmyra Productions gifted 5 memberships. Thank you so very much for your support and your generosity. Thank you very much. Fair Frozen 55 is saying, what's your favorite M9? Like a Beretta. I'm tempted to get an M9A4. Love the little, can you keep your pew pew food in? I kind of like, I just have a 92 FS. I was getting, before COVID hit, I was going to do this shooting match where it was the Cold War weapons. You entered it was a Cold War themed thing. So you had to use either a net, like obviously you could make an M16A2 clone, but like if you were going to use a Beretta, you couldn't use a real Beretta. So I got a Beretta it was $500 shipped. Actually, it was $450. It was on sale. And it was a Beretta 92. It's fucking nice. It's a banger. So I like the old school. Give you a little Bruce Willis vibe to it too. A little Die Hard. Super Wiener for $2 says, it's potentially criminal, not already arrested. Squizgar says, is any country that allows the state to appeal an acquittal is automatically trash? Well, there are things like in Colorado where the judge dismissed it already. The state can appeal that. Like if the court dismisses pretrial, the state can generally appeal that. But I don't think they're going to, and they're probably going to lose anyway because that was really horrible. And then Automata is saying in the Vince voice, "You've got to take this, Sean." Yes. Thank you. And then Stabby asked a great question about that diver putting fish on the hooks. Answer the question. You brought it up. Oh, yeah. And yes, Rod, we didn't know the Italians are still booty blasted over Amanda Knox. Well, they were. They were. He's just saying like a nice and a dark button up. Well, thank you. I try. I try. I have you streaming on my iPad so you can show as many pro-Trump images to annoy this liberal next to me. I'll work on that. Crime Scene says, I like the Inox. Those are nice. Those are nice. Some of those Berettas out there are super nice. You get like the 96G, the Brigadier. There's some cool ones out there. But I just like the classic. I think it's pretty cool. If I want something railed up, I'll get like an HK or I got my Glock 19. That's got everything I need on it. So let's get back to Hunter. So what did Hunter do? Hunter bought a 38 snub nose a couple years ago, and we're on day 4 of his trial, and it's out in Delaware. And as I said before about this one, guys, this one should get dismissed. It should get dismissed. And if you guys are new, it should be dismissed in light of, especially now, with the ruling from, the New York State Rifle and Pistol Association versus Bruin that the Supreme Court did 2 years ago now. Because these are not constitutional gun laws. That's why. Do I own a pinky ring? No. Nope. And this idea of lying on an ATF form, that's not a crime either. That shouldn't be a crime you could be convicted of. Because a 4473 is unconstitutional. And some of you might be thinking, wow, Sean really doesn't like gun laws. No, I don't. I mean, I have a RPG 2 that I'm waiting to rebuild sitting right there. So, yeah, not a big fan of gun laws. But Hunter Biden's trial has been going. And we're already past jury selection. And we're into it. So what do we learn? That Haley Biden found Hunter's firearm and threw it out of a grocery store. And police found it later in the trash. And Haley is the widow of Hunter Biden's late brother, Beau. Yes, he married his sister-in-law. These people are fucking weird. All of them. All of our elites are weird. All of them are just... They really are interdimensional psychic vampires, you'd think. This is just creepy, creepy, creepy. They claim that she doesn't know whether Hunter was using drugs at the time, and he's pled not guilty. And the prosecutors have 2 more witnesses than they planned the rest. And the Hunter's defense team says it hasn't decided if he'll take the stand. And this is the first time a U.S. president, a sitting president's child, has been on trial. And Biden said that he would not pardon his son if he's found guilty. If he's found guilty, I think that's going to change. Hunter's all he's got left. Beau's dead. Beau died on Normandy, so Joe's got nothing left. But it is very interesting to track how things go. I do think look how douchey he is, though. He's showing up for court, and he's got his own fucking book, his own fucking memoir. I hope he goes to prison for that part. That part alone makes me want him to go to prison. That part alone makes me hope he goes to prison. That is just that. There's no excuse for that. No excuse. So they did bring in his laptop, and his laptop was confirmed to be his. The FBI admitted to it. And they admitted all those pictures of him smoking crack and doing everything there. Yeah. All that's true. All that's true, except his wife's like, well, I don't remember when he was smoking crack. So, yeah, it'll be very interesting. But yeah, here's some of the courtroom sketches. So these are actually, guys, it's federal court, so we don't get cameras. So this is the type of thing you get. But also remember that it's for the Hunter Biden trial, so it's the good federal sketch artist is in there. This is Haley Biden already testifying. Better than Stormy Daniels looked in the court thing. And this is the funny part. This is from security camera footage. So this is the guy drawing this had to draw out a security camera footage. Like, this is how jacked up federal court is. They're so garbage about this stuff. That is, yeah. So, and the defense, Abby Lowell, says they might have 2 or 3 witnesses for their case, and they're not sure that includes Hunter Biden yet. We don't know. So, and how did the gun get found? Well, an 80-year-old guy was digging for cans. So he's like, I get a nickel a piece for the cans, and he gets sometimes 75 cents a pound. Well, that gun would have been good to sell. I'm just saying, you flip it. I mean, I'm just saying, you find a gun? What gun? What gun? Oh. What a sick joke. Cacophony says, fuck him, and who cares? The laws are now unconstitutional. They were at the time you violated them. Things are not retroactive. Even if they were, I want them paying for all of us to have more rights. Yeah, no, I said this before. I've said this many months ago. It's going to be hilarious that you're seeing people, you're going to see big push people on the left like, well, maybe we shouldn't have Section 18 USC 922 exist anymore. You're like, So yes, it will be funny when the paragon of destroying the Gun Control Act of 1968 is fucking Hunter Biden. But hey, you know what? You use the people you got. You use the people you got. Mr. Bubble says, could Sean treat his case like he was a lawyer for it? No, he wants views, likes, and subs for cucking just to be against Hunter. No, if I was Abby Lowell, I'd be making arguments against Bruin the whole fucking time. Now, the trial court judge has said no. So what have you got now? Well, nobody's clearly shown that Hunter Biden was smoking crack exactly at that time. Because Hunter went through periods of sobriety, then he would go smoke crack again. So it's not clear they can prove that. And even if they do prove it, I think on appeal, the Court of Appeals probably will overturn it on Bruin grounds. So I'm not sure, Mr. Bubbles, you haven't been listening for a while, because I have said Hunter's got ways to win. And the Bruin one's probably the biggest. He's just going to get convicted. And then he'll win on appeal. But the neat part is he's not going to prison. Robert Lawrence is saying federal court is stupid for not streaming it. They should be transparent. I agree, but federal court doesn't do that. He should have just kept it. Well, his wife threw it away. Oh, yes. The guy who found it should have just kept it. Yeah. Free gun. Jefferson Post says, this is the reminder that defending scumbags' rights is defending your own. Make that side support the rights they hate to win. Yes. Make people on the left advocate for the Second Amendment. Advocate for the destruction of 922G and the rest of the Gun Control Act of 1968. Use them as a vehicle to get our will done. Why not? So, how would I defend Hunter if he's your client? Well, prove exactly he was an unlawful user at that point when he bought the gun. You can't prove that. Haley Biden said, well, I'm not sure if he's doing crack then. And also, I would argue, well, what does doing it around that time mean? I get it if he was in the middle of a crack bender and bought a gun. Okay, you can't do that. But if he hasn't been using for a month, is he still addicted? At what point are you an unlawful user and somebody in recovery? There's a bunch of issues surrounding that, and I don't think the state can argue against that. There's nobody that could clearly establish in this case when Hunter was doing drugs. Yeah, the laptop stuff came in, but I don't think that's going to get him. And I would make the Bruin arguments the whole time, and I would also hope it's Delaware, so they're probably going to jury nullify for Hunter anyway. I don't think he gets acquitted, but he probably gets a hung jury, and the government's not going to retry it. So you win here, and then he's going to have to go deal with his tax case out in California, which that one he's kind of fucked on. Will I be joining the Ricada pay-per-view stream tonight? I don't know. Maybe we'll watch it on locals ourselves. They may let Hunter suffer to make the point. They might. I don't know. We'll see. He admits in his book, though, that was let in as evidence. Yeah, but you know what? Was he writing that for puffery purposes? Was that meant to be theatrical so people would buy the book, hearing about when he was smoking crack? There's ways he could probably chance it. But even then, at the end of the day, Hunter Biden's playing with house money. He's not going to prison. Really. I mean, he's not going to prison. So why not go for broke? Because you take your chances and you probably win on an appeal anyway. There's nothing wrong with trying it. Are you up? Moosenuts saying, am I up to date on the guy talking about MH370 and government tech? I'm more interested in the surveillance angle. Which guy? Send me an email down below to potentiallycriminal@gmail. I'll take a look at it. I think MH370 is an interesting story. Like what exactly happened? Darcy says surprise Hunter's wife didn't use it on him. Yeah. Brimso says, you think this will get fairly applied to right-wingers? You are all so fucking stupid. I know. That's why I'm hoping Hunter can get the law struck down so then it's not a problem. That's why I'm hoping. Palmeri says, I'm actually super wiener. Don't you see my huge cape? Well, I see the fact you're a big wiener. Haley's like, have you read my diary? And Pimp Poppy says, I don't see anything wrong marrying your sister-in-law. Well, I'm just saying. I don't know about that. Bella's saying, I think she thinks Hunter's going to get convicted. Joe pardons him. If he does that, he's done. Joe steps down as nominee. This way, Biden leaves a loving daddy hero legacy. And the Dems get to nominate Hillary and Michelle. No, because if Biden pardons Joe, Trump wins automatically. You're saying Ashton Forbes is the guy's name. I'll take a look for him at some point. I'll take a look. Oh, Eric Hunley had him on. Okay. The tax case is a nothing burger. It's a fine and a payment. Oh, I agree. But the tax case is one he can't beat. He's got problems there. And ultimately, I still think they should have smacked them up with FARA and stacked them up on that. But, we'll see. I'm just saying, sometimes, Hunter might be considered a loose end because it's not like people have been wrapped up while their federal cases have been pending. I'm just saying, yes, it's not a presidential family look to bang sister-in-laws. Well, it's also not a presidential look to bang strippers in Arkansas and have grandpa not deal with his granddaughter either. So, Bob Dobbs for $5. Then we're moving on here, guys. My friend Bunter Hayden lives in a state with legal weed, but he wants to buy a High Point. What should he say on the forums? Well, if you live in a state with legal weed, you can buy a gun. If you're using weed, well, you're a user of an unlawful substance. Because even if weed becomes Schedule 3, you need a prescription for it. So I can't tell you to lie, but certainly you could. That's a risk you take. That's a big risk you take. Because If you do that and get caught lying out 4473, the government is literally gonna like take your asshole and stretch it open, and they're gonna like foot through and just step on in. So I don't recommend you do that. So Access, wait, I live in the Fifth Circuit. Be careful. Still be careful. Be careful. I'm just saying, chat. Just saying. And then moving on, if you guys remember, we covered this a while back.
Present is due.
This is from Michigan.
Mr.
Hello?
Harris, are you driving?
Actually, I'm pulling into my doctor's office, actually. So just give me 1 second. I'm parking right now.
Wait. You stationary?
I'm pulling in right now at this second. Yes, I am.
All right. What are we doing?
Your Honor, we
So if you guys don't remember, this is a case out of Michigan, up in Ann Arbor in Washtenaw County. This guy here, Corey Harris, is coming to court because he's got a suspended license. Now, if you notice, he's driving. So notice what the judge does here.
are respectfully requesting an adjournment in this matter, up possibly 2 to 4 weeks if the court would allow.
So maybe I don't understand something. This is a driving while license suspended,
That is correct, Your Honor.
and he was just driving. And he didn't have a license.
Oh,
Is with the charges, Your Honor, yes.
No, I'm looking at his
Yes.
record. He doesn't have a license. He's suspended and he's just driving.
That is correct, Your Honor.
oh,
I don't even know why he would do that. So defendant's bond is revoked in this matter. Defendant is to turn himself into the Washtenaw County Jail by 6 p.m. today. Failure to turn himself in will result in a bench warrant with no bond.
Assistant Public Defender Nat.
Now, if you guys saw his reaction right there at the end, this reaction right here. At first, we were all like, oh, this guy, it turns out, oh, he did have a license. Well, he didn't, though. He didn't. The guy did try to go to court, and he tried to lie about it. He got an attorney, and he tries to claim
for an honest mistake.
It has literally been pure OD hell.
Now, he's claiming, oh, I did have a license, and I was all set to go. And listen to him right now in this story, and then we'll listen to him again when he goes back to court, because it turns out he was a fucking liar.
I've been assaulted. I've been followed.
Nobody's fucking assault. No one's assaulted you because you're a dumb fuck. No one has assaulted you. I call bullshit, sir. I call bullshit. No one's walked up to you and said, hey, you're the asshole with a suspended license. Just like that has not happened. I'm sure people have pointed and laughed at you. I'm sure your Facebook is full of people going like, oh, hey, bro. Like, I'm sure that's happened. But the idea you've been attacked? Oh, fuck you.
I've been laughed at. I've been ridiculed. I have been disrespected.
Corey Harris
As you should be.
is planning to appear back in an Ann Arbor courtroom Wednesday with a new defense attorney, Dion Webster Cox.
My client doesn't want to go out here breaking the law. He's a law-abiding citizen. So now that we know what's going on, we're taking the steps to go forward to correct the problem, to put him in a situation where his license is in proper order.
Mr. Harris.
Hold on, chat. You need to hear that part again.
So now that we know what's going on, we're taking the steps to go forward to correct the problem, to put him in a situation where his license is in proper order.
Mr. Harris.
Okay. Okay. What's this attorney's name again? I forget her name. Attorney.
Put him in a situation where his license is in proper order.
Mr.
Hello?
Harris?
What the hell is her name again? Attorney Webster Cox. You just admitted he didn't have a valid license, you retard. You just admitted he didn't have a valid goddamn license. You just admitted it's not in order, and you need to take the steps to get his papers in order. Like, what the fuck? It's hard enough when people snitch on themselves, but you come on a TV and say, oh, it's not fucking good? I get it. She's not lying. I'll give her credit for that. But why the fuck would you come on the news and admit that? Why? 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 Fucking retard. Well, then it gets funnier because he shows up in court.
Saying.
He showed up in court. They went back to court, and this was, I think, today or yesterday. So this is Judge Simpson, and he's got a YouTube channel. Like, you can watch his court all the time. It's fucking hilarious. He's a great judge. I would love to practice in front of him. Sadly, Ann Arbor's like 5 hours away, but I think he'd be a treat. I think he'd be pretty cool. But listen to him, because he's going to say, we heard all these allegations, so we double-checked. And we'll find out the real story here about who doesn't have a license.
And quite frankly, your client has made the assertion that the Pittsfield Township, as well as this court, was acting on some type of defective or faulty information, which I will tell you, counsel, caused the court, given what the court did, to investigate what my ruling was. And I will tell you that that assertion is absolutely correct with reference to any faulty information that either came through to the Pittsfield Township Department of Public Safety or to this court ultimately at the May 15th hearing. And I think it needs to be stated, I've been asked for comments. I have refrained from comments, as my normal practice is. This court with the pending case will speak on the record. And so I am going to make sure.
And that's what you do. You guys are wondering what the DA should have done? We have a pending case. And my boss said this, we filed a motion. You're more than happy to read it. If you have questions about it, I'll explain what I can. But we laid out our reasoning in the motion we filed. We speak on the record. And there's nothing wrong with that because there's no questioning it. There's no hiding it. There's no secrets. It's all out there. It happened over child support. Ooh, you need to stick around, James. It's not like that. Not exactly like that. We're gonna get to it.
Sure that the record is very, very clear as to what this court knows and what this court acted on May 15th. And we can start with this. And my basis for doing it is because of what was said about what this whole process was. And that an indication, counsel, and I know, counsel, you've been before me before.
Absolutely.
I know it is not coming from you, but you also know how I am.
I do.
And the thing is that if for whatever reason, the one time in my life I was wrong, I will say it and did.
Now we're going to get to the interesting part here.
You redid and got your new Michigan ID. I have the date. That's the date you did it. December 28th, 2023. You did. And so that you also know, and in all fairness to counsel, because I don't know if counsel knows this or not, the way I know that he's never had a license is because May 3rd, 1990, he was 19 at the time. May 3rd, 1999, he applied for his first Michigan ID.
Now that's the point. He's never had a driver's license. He never had a driver's license. every time he did it, he's gotten a state identification card, which every state allows you to have an ID card, but you can't have an ID card and a driver's license at the same time. They don't let you do that. So this guy's been running around for 25 years without a driver's license, which also means he's not insured, very likely. I mean, yes, people who don't have licenses generally don't carry insurance. So all this bullshit that was out there, and no, he's not a sovereign citizen. He's just a guy scamming. He's just a lazy guy scamming the system. So the judge did his homework. Well, when he got accused of being wrong and everybody was hounding him, he's like, I'm going to double check. And like a good judge, if he's wrong, he will admit he's wrong. And I've watched his streams before and the clips of him. This guy takes care of his shit when it's not right. So, Mystery Sniper says, what if he's so retarded he thought he had an I license? Wouldn't work. Wouldn't work. Zero Fuck says, I heard his kind couldn't get it, don't know how to get an ID. Fair enough. Yeah. Jim Cox says, Ohio allows you to get insurance without a license. All states should. Yes, I think that's not an issue in most states. You can insure vehicles even without having a license. Stream Snipes, Knicks, Locals. There'll be time to listen to Cope and Seethe and Mauled. Like, I got more interesting things I want to cover right now. We'll do that later tonight when you join us over in Locals. This is the dude that zoomed from a car. Yes. So no, he's not a Moor. He's just a lazy fucking guy. I mean, guys, when you go to like municipal courts like this one, go to ones here in Ohio or anywhere else you go, most of the docket's traffic, half the docket's traffic, and most of that docket is, suspended, like no operator's license, suspended license. Why are you suspended? Because you got unpaid fines, so there's warrant blocks. You got 12-point violations. You maxed it out. You didn't have insurance before, so you have a FRA suspension, so you got to get an SR22 bond. Those are the common ones. And then every once in a while, you get also people like judgment suspensions because they got into an accident and they owed a judgment. And when they didn't pay the judgment, bam, license got suspended. And then the other common one, child support suspensions. Those happen all the time. They're like, that's the thing. Most people, that's the majority of these dockets. So this isn't just a Moor or sovereign citizen thing. It's just people being shitbags. Now, I do understand there are people where they get fucked by the system and then it just perpetuates and gets out of control. But this guy's not a victim of it. This guy's a fucking asshole who never even bothered to get a license. So, yeah, this judge, if you watch his thing, he has gone out of his way to help people get their license back. He's worked with all kinds of people. He would work with this guy to get a license, but then he doesn't have it, and he does the, oh my God. And then he goes and fucking lies on the news and does all this shit. Yeah. Yes, and Mavka says, yes, you can get a suspended license without a license. The suspension is just your ability to apply for one. No, there are times where, like, I will say there are times where people do get victimized by the system, and the system does cause these impacts, and it's not fair to people. This is not one of them, though. This is not one of them. J-Rock says you can also sell, you can send all the paperwork to the DDS and they lose with DDS, the dentist? That's something in Georgia, I guess. And they lose it and they suspend your driver's license for no insurance on a car you sold. That shit happens too. Here in Ohio, you get letters randomly. They send out letters to people saying, hey, you got a driver's license. If you own a car, we see you own a car, show us the insurance on it. You've got 2 weeks or we suspend your license. So that happens too. You don't need a license if you don't get pulled over. I mean, that's Michael didn't have a license and had no brakes on his van for 10 years. Yeah. Yeah. Scudex says, this is hilarious. Every stream I watch has been apologizing and retracting. That's why you got to come to me, baby. We get it right, and we dig in like it's a fucking hillside. We get it right, chat. We get it right. Yeah, Mr. Saber says, what's DDS besides a dentist? I agree. That's weird. Oh, you call it a DMV? What we call a DMV? Just call it the DMV. And the judge did his homework. Yeah. Have I seen the end of this clip? No, I didn't get to the end of it, but we'll check it out. We'll go to the end real quick. We'll do the last minute or so, chat. Here we go. Let's see what this says.
Privilege will be available to him, but he does have, as you stated earlier, and I have the receipts. He did pay the reinstatement fee. Those fees are paid. Anything that was out in the previous court, those fees have been paid, and I've been presented with those receipts. In addition, on tomorrow, he got his.
It's a miracle. He figured out what the fuck he had to do within the course of less than 2 weeks. He figured it out, chat. It's a miracle.
Permit test coming up, and then after that, because he's an adult, he's working on it so that he can take advantage of the offers that are available. Because as you say, this court does want to help. Absolutely. And with that, because my client was in an accident.
She is doing a great job at trying to help him, but he's fucked anyway. I think she knows that, but you try anyway. You try your heart out. You talk your ass off and hope he buys it. She knows he's fucked, but she's trying.
And I haven't seen the medical records, but because of some of the things it could be, I don't know. But sometimes our memories get a little foggy. Now, am I going back to 1999? No, I'm not. But I'm just saying that I'm saying from this day forward, he is working diligently to take the steps necessary to get this driver's license so he can take advantage of the generous offer.
Oh, okay. Well, that was it. All right. Well, I guess we're done. Moving on to the next thing here. Steve Bannon. If you guys remember Steve Bannon, he is President Trump's confidant and guy who helped orchestrate everything to help him get into the White House and win the 2016 election. There was more. Okay, well, we didn't see it. Sorry, there's way more than that. Well, guys, that's the one I found. I'm sorry. Well, we'll watch the end of it next week. I promise. We'll come back to it. Anyway, Steve Bannon defied a subpoena to the January 6th committee, and he received he was charged and he went to trial on a for defying subpoenas, and he's got a 4-month sentence, and the DC Court of Appeals rejected his appeal. So the court had a hearing today, and he is told to report on July 1st. Begins his 4 months. So if you guys were wondering what happened with Steve Bannon, there's way more, and it's incredible. I'm sure he went to jail. I could tell you he was going to jail anyway because he's an asshole. The judge wasn't taking that from him. And I think that's hilarious that happened. I think that's hilarious that happened to him. Couldn't have happened to a nicer guy. He should be screwed. What he did was absolutely horrible, and then he's crying and, oh, I'm trying to get caught up. Well, that don't work that way, buddy. It don't work that way. Oh, you guys, somebody has a link right now. Okay, here, we'll try this. Hold on here. Okay, let me see here if this is. All right, we got another minute of this we'll watch here. Okay. Yeah, guys, I'm not going to. Sorry, this one got sent to me. It's got graphics and crap all over it. We'll do it another day. So, There's no such thing as contempt of Congress. I agree, it shouldn't be. But guys, we need to move on, so we do need to get over to locals very quickly because we do have things we're going to watch over there. And the last thing is, it was very interesting. The Kansas Supreme Court said you don't have a right to vote. It's not a natural right. So what actually happened here, and it wasn't anything dangerous or it wasn't anything crazy, but it was a people challenging a couple of different laws in the state of Kansas. And holy cow, yes, Miss Alabama. Okay, yeah, I got it. Do we all have contempt for Congress? Yes, we do. We all have contempt for Congress. Will I leave my locals open everyone tonight? You know what? I probably will. Even the live stream will probably be open for everyone. So if you guys want to see us over at locals, we will do that pretty quickly here. The last thing we're going to touch on real quick, it was a very interesting decision out of Kansas. And what actually was and it's pretty base what Kansas is going to allow going forward. So the Kansas Supreme Court had a ruling, and it was the League of Women Voters of Kansas versus Scott Schwab as the Secretary of State and Chris Kobach as the Attorney General. What were they challenging? Well, they challenged a couple of different laws that were passed. And there are 3 different laws that you were prohibiting people from falsely representing an election official. That got struck down. There's a law prohibiting election officials from counting advance ballots that don't have a signature or a signature that an election official determines does not match a signature on file. So Kansas now has signature match confirmation based. And then finally, this law here, prohibiting any person from collecting and returning more than 10 advance ballots. And an advance ballot is an absentee ballot or an early ballot. What does this mean? So this prevents people from ballot harvesting. It means you can only return 10 ballots per election cycle. So for the lead up to 2024, you can only take ballots from like 10 old people and bring them in. But it stops the 1,000 mules, the 3,000 mules. It stops all that crap. So they say that the first one is false representations infirm. They claim that the signature verification is valid and will stay in effect, based. And that the ballot collection restriction is going to be upheld. Why? Because it's not political speech to collect ballots. Casting a ballot is speech that's protected, but picking the ballots up and giving them to someone else, that doesn't count. But when they start talking about voting, and this is an issue about voting in general, all of this, the court has to come to a very interesting issue here. And the court comes to a thing that you're like people might panic about, but really, what are they saying? So they point out that the right to vote is not an enumerated natural right protected under the Kansas Constitution. Rather, suffrage is universally understood as a political right. And notice what they cite. Purcell v. Gonzalez, and that's a United States Supreme Court case. And that Reynolds v. Sims, the right to vote is a political action. And where do you guys... Yeah, guys, we'll catch Judge Simpson later. We are going to finish this up because we got a train to catch over in locals chat. So there is a long thing of this. The right to vote is not regarded strictly as a natural right, but as a privilege conceded by society. And that's the thing. Like, think about it. Under the U.S. Constitution, do you have a right to vote? No. And notice that, because under the Constitution, it's written, how do you pick House of Representatives? How do you pick your senators? You can pick them however you want. How would you pick your president? However the state legislator wants to do it. If they passed a law, they could pass a law preventing us from voting on it, and the state legislator could vote, and that could be determined where the electoral votes go. That would actually probably be valid. There's no preventing that. There's nothing preventing that. So what do they do with this? Well, and this is, you guys need to, like, people are panicking, but it's like, you don't actually have a right to vote. You know, we have the Voting Rights Act. We have laws that establish voting, but there's nothing set in stone for voting. And a lot of this is actually a very interesting read, but it really comes down to whether or not this is legal. And they talk about the ballot restrictions. And they determine that, is this imposing new rules on what it takes to be an elector or somebody who's voting? And it doesn't. It's regulating the mechanics of an election, saying that person voting doesn't have an additional restriction. It's the person collecting the votes. So hopefully this helps in other states. Hopefully other states pass laws like this. It will stop ballot harvesting and the fuckery with election boxes that we dealt with in 2024. I mean, we allowed to say that here, chat? I don't know. Mystery Sniper says, but it says in the Constitution, Sean, aren't you a shitty lawyer, Sean? Yes. According to some people, yes. It's Trenton. You're talking about the 26th Amendment. Yes. You can't deny anybody the right to vote based on their age. I'm not denying it based on their age. The state of Ohio could abolish the ability to vote for president tomorrow and say the state legislator picks. That's valid. That'd be fucking insane, and I'd be very pissed, but that would probably pass constitutional muster. Jonathan Thompson, say it louder for the people in the back. Yes, I am just a retarded Jabba the Hutt. Constitutional mustard. Yes. Constitutional mustard. Not as good as stadium mustard, though. Stadium mustard is the best mustard. And Cleveland people get that. So they do go through this, and I do think it's interesting that they address the matters here. The ballot deliverers are not engaged in speech, and they're considered no more than the postman. The mailman's not engaged in speech when he's delivering the ballots. Collecting ballots is not expressive conduct in the 5th Circuit and the 9th Circuit. The receipt and delivery of completed voter registration applications is not conduct. Yeah, I think that makes sense. You know, unlike the Inca Party uses to create the written speech or the money people use to create speech, the delivery of ballots is not a speech input. You know, there's nothing stopping you from telling people and soliciting and urging, vote for my candidate, do this, do that. Cool. But one doesn't speak when you take someone's ballot. Hey, I'll take that for you. So making the creation of speech more costly and thereby reducing its volume under the laws of supply and demand. So it has no effect on your ability to speak, being restricted on how many ballots you can return. I can say whatever I want. I can do whatever I want. I just can't carry too many ballots at once. So it's just something to think about, because I saw this come out and people were panicking saying, oh my God, in Kansas, we can't vote anymore. Well, technically, yes. Technically, yes. But it's always been that way. It's been that way for all of us. That's how it goes. So they point out that, yeah, deal with it. So, yeah, would I ever agree with eliminating things? No, never. But it could happen. It could happen. Alex says, I wish the lefties couldn't vote in Kansas. Well, fire up the helicopters, man. All right, guys, with that said, we have finished under 2 hours for the first time in a long time. 475 people here, guys. please like, share, and subscribe. I would appreciate it. There is no Karen Reed tomorrow, so don't worry about it. I've got trial in the morning. We got like a 50-50 shot. It's gonna be it's gonna be close. I got a trial in the morning, not telling you where it's at. And then tomorrow night at 10 p.m., Legal Mindset and I will be hanging out. We'll be chopping it up a little bit, talking about some of the events from the week as we go forward. And in the meantime, we are going to be heading over to potentiallycriminal.locals.com using the 1-month free code Booger Sugar. We're going to be hanging out, doing the after party. Going to be hanging out, having some laughs, taking a fun time, taking the piss, as the Brits might say. You know, taking a piss on the dog's bollocks. That's what they say, right? Taking a piss on the dog's bollocks. I don't know why you take a piss on the dog's bollocks, but you can. So we are all done for tonight, chat. I want to make sure I got all the super chats. Mr. Bubble says, thanks for the answers. Of course, man. Of course. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate your support. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. Mr. Bubble says, no, I'm traveling. Well, that's your vessel, sir. I will salute you as you float on by. And Mr. Bubbles gifted 5 memberships. Thank you for the support and the generosity. And he gifted 1 more. So 6. Thank you. Thank you very much. Automata says, I'm guilty of DWG. Driving while guzzling. Yep. Corey was just guzzling away. Guzzle, guzzle, guzzle. Drinking that dumb fuck juice. And Quicks, the last thing here, Chad, is saying Michigan drivers have responsibility fees that make you pay after you pay. Almost put me in the clink. Wow. Guys don't fuck around out there. So we're all set, chat. And come on over. We're going to have fun. Give me like 2 minutes and we'll set it up. So in the meantime, guys, take care of yourselves. Have a great weekend. And remember, as always, just because you did it does not mean you're guilty. Unless you're Corey Hayes, then you're kind of homie. Get a driver's license for the love of God. Help yourself here. Good night, chat. Take care.
Weapons, blacksmithing, and models of planes, esoteric works, and even some trains. Much merriment had while drinking White Claws, tips on hunting, and even talking the law. Whatever you do, just don't talk to cops. Even when they nab you on illegal stops. Just cause you did it doesn't mean you're guilty. But please talk to a local attorney. Was that the fat guy that Kate yelled at? Why, yes, it was. He